What is Microsoft Azure? Microsoft Azure is a cloud computing and service provided by Microsoft. But what does that really mean? In order to understand Microsoft Azure, we have to start by understanding the cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the delivery of compute and storage over the internet with a pay-as-you-go model. Let's translate it into English. Cloud computing is like having your personal genie in the bottle. Imagine having a bottle, just rub the bottle, the genie comes out, and it will deliver all your wishes about having a computer or resources over the internet. Any storage, compute, database, or services requirement that you have, the genie can bring it to you in a matter of minutes. And when you don't need them, it can go away. Cloud computing is similar to when you want to go and buy a computer for yourself. You need a few gigs of RAM, you need a CPU, you need storage, and many more. With the cloud computing, you do the same thing. You just don't go and buy those stuff anymore. You rent them. You rent them from a service provider. Your computing power, your resources would be a virtual machine sitting on one of these big providers' data center. Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, just to name two of the largest cloud provider companies. Let me give you one example. Imagine you have a corporation or a small business, or maybe you're just starting in a startup. You have an application, maybe a web application that you would like to serve to your customer. As an example, there are some days that you don't have too many customers using the application, and there are days that there are so many users using your system. Let's say you are selling something online. During the year, you might have 5 to 10 users per day, but during special events like closing to the holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, or other events, there are a lot of users who are trying to access your website. So how do you have to plan for that? Well, traditionally, you had to consider how many users or how many concurrent users are you going to have on the maximum peak, and then based on that requirement, purchase hardware. What does that mean? That means that during the rest of the year, you have committed and spent a lot of money on a huge server and a lot of resources that are being unused during the whole year. Or you could say, I'm going to take an average from the lowest number of users and the maximum number of users, and then I buy something in the middle. What happens? During the not busy days, your system is not busy, it's performing well, but when the load hits, then your system will fail. It doesn't have enough power, it doesn't have enough resources. With cloud computing, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Cloud computing has a lot of advantages. One of them is the elasticity, which means you can scale up or down your resources based on load. You can even make it automatic. You can purchase the smallest size VM that you need, the smallest size computing power that you need, the smallest size storage that you need. And when the load goes high, you can automatically increase your system. You can automatically increase your processing power, your memory, your storage. And on top of that, the beautiful thing is that you only pay for what you're using. And when the load goes away, you can downsize your system again and go back to normal. And again, you would pay only for what you're using. If your project fails, or if you wanted to test something and your test is over, you can simply shut down everything, delete them, and not pay anymore. Whereas if it was a traditional model, you had to pay for the hardware and you had to keep the hardware. Now let's take a look at Microsoft Azure. There are three main types of cloud computing: public, private, and hybrid. Public cloud services are owned and operated by third-party cloud service providers. They are made available to generic public over the internet. Amazon Web Service and Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform are examples of public cloud providers. Private cloud services are owned and managed and operated by a single organization. It can be managed by the organization or a third-party company. It can be located on the premises or it can be off premises. Hybrid cloud is a combination of public and private cloud services. A good example of a hybrid cloud use case is when a company with a private cloud is in the middle of the migration to a public cloud. They will have their own on-premises and in their own private cloud services, and then they can use public cloud providers as well. Cloud providers offer three models of service: IaaS or Infrastructure as a Service, PaaS or Platform as a Service, and SaaS or Software as a Service. Think of IaaS as your private jet. You can fly with your jet to anywhere across the globe, but you don't need to worry about the maintenance or learning how to fly your plane. For the platform as a service, you can think of a fully loaded workshop. All you need is to bring your tools and your ideas, then in that workshop, they will provide the rest. You can build whatever you need. You can bring your ideas to life. And lastly, software as a service providers like Salesforce or Microsoft 365 are like having a personal assistant. They handle everything. You only focus on what that matters to you. All the tedious tasks are being handled by the provider. Cloud computing also makes it easy for you to work from anywhere in the world. As long as you have an internet connection, it is like having a magical portal to your data and application. Azure is a continually expanding set of cloud services that help you and your organization to meet your current and even future business challenges. Azure gives you the freedom to build, manage, and deploy applications on their massive global networks. I have included a virtual tour of one of Microsoft Azure data centers at the end of this video. Azure provides more than 100 services that enable you to do anything from running your existing application on a virtual machine to exploring new softwares such as intelligent bots or mixed reality. How do you access Azure? Or how do you manage your resources in Azure? There are several different methods for accessing and managing Azure environment. Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, or simply using Azure Portal. The Azure Portal is a web-based unified console that provides an alternative to command line tools. With Azure Portal, you can manage your Azure subscription by using a graphical user interface. You can build, manage, monitor everything from a simple web page. You can create custom dashboards for your organization, or you can create accessibility option for an optimal experience. Now, you might be asking, what is inside this Azure? What can it provide? What does it have to offer? Let's take a closer look at some of these services. The most commonly used services are divided into 10 categories: compute, networking, storage, mobile, database, web, IoT, big data, AI, and DevOps. Compute services are often one of the primary reasons any company moves to Azure platform. Azure provides a range of options for hosting applications and services. To name a few of these services, we can mention Azure Virtual Machines, Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets, Azure Kubernetes Services, and Azure Service Fabric. Networking. Linking compute resources and providing access to application is the key function for networking. Networking functionality in Azure include a range of options to connect the outside world to the services and features inside your global Azure data centers. Some examples of networking services in Azure are Azure Virtual Network, Load Balancer, Application Gateway, VPN Gateway, and many more. Storage. Azure provides 4 main types of storage services: blob storage, file storage, queue storage, and table storage. We will talk about all these services in more details in future videos. Mobile. With Azure, developers can create mobile back-end services for iOS, Android, and Windows apps. Some features that previously took a long time to implement and increase the project risk, such as adding corporate signing or connecting to on-premises resources such as SAP, SQL Server, and SharePoint, are now included with Azure. Database. Azure provides multiple database services. These database services store a wide variety of data types. Azure Cosmos DB, SQL database, database for MySQL, database for PostgreSQL, Azure Synapse Analytics are a few examples of Azure database services. Web. Having a great web experience is critical to today's business. Azure includes a great support for build and hosting web apps. Some of the services supporting the web apps are Azure App Services, Notification Hub, API Management, Cognitive Search, and many more. IoT. These days, people are able to access more information than ever. Most users are using smartwatch, smart thermostats, and even smart refrigerators. Personal computers used to be the norm. Now, the internet allows any item that is capable of connecting to the internet to access valuable information. This ability for devices to connect and use the information for data analysis is referred to as IoT. Some of the services for IoT are IoT Central, Azure IoT Hub, and IoT Edge. AI. Everyone is talking about AI these days. AI in the context of cloud computing is based around a broad range of services, and the core of that is machine learning. Machine learning is a data science technique that allows computers to use existing data to forecast future behaviors, future outcomes, and even finding the trends. Using machine learning, computers learn without being explicitly programmed. They can start learning by analyzing the data that they have and forecast the future behaviors. Some of the services offered by Microsoft for AI are Azure Machine Learning Service, Azure ML Studio, and other services. DevOps. DevOps bring together people, processes, and technology by automating the software delivery to provide a continuous value to your users. With DevOps, you can create build and release pipelines that provide a continuous integration. Some of the services for DevOps are Azure DevOps and Azure Dev Test Labs. Now, let's take a look at a virtual tour of one of Microsoft Azure data centers. And there you have it, a brief high-level summary of cloud computing, Microsoft Azure, and all the services that Microsoft Azure provide. I will be creating future videos explaining every single service in Microsoft Azure. If you'd like to learn more about Microsoft Azure, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when the new contents are released. Now, it's time to start your journey. All you need is a Microsoft account, and you can sign up for your Microsoft Azure subscription. Microsoft even gives you some credit depending on your country to use toward your learning and practicing. And if you're a student, you can access Microsoft Azure without having a credit card. You even get $100 credit that you can use on your first year. If you need to know how to claim that $100 credit, click the link on top of your screen to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next video.